sitting, and he's he just rules the world, so that's fine.
Yeah, of course. All cats rule the world.
All cats rule the world. There he is, he's just chilling on his own sofa. Panda,
Nice,
top of the
nice.
world panda. Leigh, panda, Leigh.
Nice to meet you, Panda. I got two big dogs, three bunny rabbits, and five chickens.
Oh, I mean, that is the dream, really, to have as it's
Yeah,
like a menagerie, isn't it, of animals.
exactly,
Uh,
exactly. Oh, and a
it's,
beautiful wife as well, an amazing, beautiful wife.
oh, that's even better. You got it all sorted, my friend.
Yeah, yeah. Poor, long-suffering wife, to be honest with you, mate. You know.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it works both ways. I'm sure it works both ways.
Thank you.
So we were saying, I mean, yeah, we try to record on the other ones, but
Yeah,
yeah, just who and what you are. That was that
yeah.
introduction you gave was
Did,
really
did, did you
perfect.
like my bio style, or
I
did?
loved it. No, I loved it. It was perfect. And then
Yeah, good, good.
I can pick and choose off like, oh, that one and that and that
Yeah,
and that, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
we'll just take it from
Nice,
there. So yeah,
nice.
yeah. Who and what are you, Leigh? Who?
Who and what am I? As I said, I'm a bipedular ape with double opposing thumbs.
Well, that's it. See you later. Thanks. Nice to meet
Yeah,
you.
cheers, dude. Take it easy.
All I need to know.
My name's Leigh. I was born in around Swansea, and I was brought up to be a swimmer, and I chose to be a martial artist as well. I had a wonderful hippie mum who allowed me to cry, which has become a very powerful capability for a British man to do.
Mm.
As you probably saw, but I guess we'll get there at some point. Yeah, so I was brought up to be a swimmer, and I chose to be a martial artist from when I was a kid. And at about the age of 13, 14, I turned veggie, vegan, because I was swimming for Wales, and I was training a lot in the martial arts, and I couldn't. I was running out of energy, and my Welsh swimming squad coach was dietitian, was very forward thinking, and she
Okay.
suggested turning vegetarian or giving up meat, and I did that. My fitness accelerated forwards, and then when puberty truly hit in, and ethics and manhood, you know.
I haven't got there yet, but yeah, I know what I mean. I've heard about it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm still waiting for it to finish, to be honest. Get rid of it. Um, I just thought all these animals around me are beautiful. They're all my friends, and yeah, they don't need to die anymore. So yeah, I went vegan then, and I've been an athlete all my life. I'm a martial artist all over the world to all sorts of different levels of endurance.
Oh, wow.
When I decided that it was time to stop thinking I was a bad boy and going wild, and get a career, I decided I wanted to be like the women in my life, because the men were a bit shocking examples, a bit shit. So I wanted to be like the girls. So my mum was a nurse and an emergency nurse at one point, and I just thought, yeah, that's for me.
Mm.
And it suited my very undiagnosed hyperactivity disorder. Then, I try not to accept the labels. I try and see them as superpowers instead. I've always had that as a superpower. Being able to cry as a man is also a superpower.
Yeah.
And being an emergency specialist is definitely a superpower. So I trained as a nurse. Then I did things like the old school paramedic training, which is 13 weeks residential course. So I could be a better nurse in emergency departments and out in the street. And then in the early 2000s, I got funded by a Christian charity, actually, although I'm an atheist and an anarchist, to go to my first war. And then in 2005, 2006, I think it was. This is before the days of mobile phones and computers and internet were just kicking off then. But I certainly wasn't into them. So most things come from memory, and like most emergency specialists, we compartmentalize things and put them to one side. So anyway, I digress. I
Oh,
wander as
digress. That's fine. That's fine.
yeah, good. So it was about 2005, 2006. I went to Palestine for the first time, and yeah, just kept returning. Every time I had enough money, I could earn enough money, I'd go back, because
Okay.
even back in those days, it was horrific. It was absolutely shocking. And yeah, that's who I am, and I
That
do
is who,
stuff.
in a nutshell. That's a hell of a nutshell.
Oh,
I can
and
tell
I'm a
you.
new terrorist. I'm a terrorist.
Oh, yes. Welcome to the club. We're both terrorists.
Yay! Look at this terrible, terrifying terror.
I mean, obviously, we are the worst. I mean, we need
Oh,
to
definitely,
be
mate.
locked up, shut down,
Yeah,
and just taken away from society because
yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh,
We're not into genocides and stuff like that. It's
um, yeah, it's a weird one. But I mean,
yeah,
yeah, when we're definitely going to be talking about that because that's
yeah,
really where I first saw your passion and
yeah,
your interest in it all.
yeah.
Just out of interest, I mean, you said you were sponsored to go to war. I mean, how
Yeah.
does that work? Do you sort of go? I mean, are you sort of looking for it? Did someone come up to say, "Would you like to do this?" What's the
No,
process in
I,
that?
I was working Southampton and Plymouth down in that area in emergency departments and mercy ships and other ships started coming back from Iraq with wounded people on them and wounded children. So I just went down and said, look, I'll give you a bit of help if you want.
Okay.
And it just sort of escalated from there.
Wow. So coming back from Iraq, when was that? What year was that?
2000 well, I was in Fallujah in 2004 when Britain boldly flattened it.
Okay. And
Yeah, I don't have anything good to say about that. I know it. In Britain, we're very much indoctrinated that we mustn't speak bad about the army, but it kills people. It invades other people's countries. We haven't. This country hasn't been attacked since the Second World War, and we've attacked 58 other countries since then. And none of them have attacked us. So, I know this is Britain, and we love our army and we love our patriotism, but when it's for the right cause, then what can they say? Only a warrior can choose to be a pacifist. So I choose
mm,
to be a warrior. I choose to be a pacifist.
mm.
And the things I've seen done in my name, in Britain's name, are just beyond horrific. I've seen them. I saw them flatten Fallujah. You know,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean. It wasn't full of bad guys. No,
No. No, no, no. And I'm sure it wasn't bad guys who were there doing the flattening either.
no, no, not at all. They believed in what they were doing, and the blatant indoctrination of that was the real well, Britain had been working up and America had been working up with its Islamophobia for a few years, but that was the first time that they sort of opened the door, and said, yeah, this is why we've been every terrorist you see in a program is Islamic. Every even puppet terrorists were always Islamic, and yeah, I think the imperial war machine doesn't like Islam because it teaches generosity, it teaches kindness and compassion, and yeah, as I said, I'm an anarchist and an atheist, so you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can't. I mean, this is why I wanted to speak with you and hear you and get you to share your stories because I've never been to war. I've never been
Yeah,
to a war area.
good, good.
Yeah, very lucky. And I'm very lucky in lots of ways. I'm a white middle class, middle-aged man in the UK, in England.
Yeah,
Living a
yeah.
life which is really, really, really easy and simple. And
So
I might have
privileged,
my
mate. Yeah,
things,
yeah,
but someone who's actually been
yeah.
and experienced it all. I think these voices, your voices, the voices of people like you, need to be shared.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing them, and thank you for.
No, no, I would say it's a pleasure, but it's not. It's really nice to
Uh,
meet you. It's nice to talk, and don't feel self-conscious if I cry. I
no,
may well cry.
yeah, yeah.
It is a great coping mechanism and a superpower, as I said. So,
Yeah. No, I mean, I wish I'm not a crier. I never have
yeah,
been. For whatever reason, bad, good, whatever. I think the last time I cried recently because of
mm,
a recent, emotional sort of journey that I was
yeah,
through, an end of an emotional, beautiful journey. But before that, it was probably about 10 or 15 years before that, because that was the
yeah,
last and it was actually with my mum. So
yeah,
I lived in Greece for many years. I was brought up in Greece,
yeah,
lived on an island called Aegina, and she was on
yeah.
the island, and I left there, that I'd been on the island with her, same island, for 10 years. And the ferry boat was leaving, and she seeing me off, and I could see this
Mm.
little body getting smaller and smaller. And my mum, just, you can imagine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I just went,
yeah,
and it was like a hysteria. It was like,
yeah.
there's no one like your mum. And
No, exactly. And
yeah,
it's cathartic, isn't it? When it comes out, it's
oh,
poof, just
yeah.
that big release. Yeah,
And I can't imagine how I would have felt if I'd forced myself to keep it in. That would have
yeah,
been just like the
yeah,
worst. And then there was
yeah,
this beautiful woman, Maria Papayani. I think that's the same. So Marina Papayani,
yeah,
who's a good friend of mine. good friends with families, beautiful woman,
Mm.
amazing human being, vegan, worked at an animal sanctuary on the island, you know, that kind of sort of
Yeah.
life, and really, really beautiful, brought her children up amazingly. She was there and she just comforted me and said it's all fine. And we went through this journey together. And so
Yeah.
it's something that a connection with this human being, this Marina, which I will never forget. So thank you, Marina. And actually, weirdly enough, so this is the, I don't know if you can see it. This is
Yeah.
Vruva
I got
Farm.
it.
And
Yeah.
this is the animal sanctuary that I'm
Oh,
talking.
wow.
So it's
Fantastic.
an animal sanctuary on the island of Egina.
Oh,
So if
do they
anyone,
need volunteers?
yes, they do. Yeah, they need volunteers. I'll send you. I'll send you
Send me an
links.
email about them. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, they're amazing. And
yeah,
Alexia's Marina's sister, and
yeah,
they
yeah.
run it sort of. Alexia started it with a family. I mean, amazing people. So looking,
Wonderful.
yeah, they're really. I'll link you up. Don't worry, I'll sort you
Oh,
out.
fantastic.
I'll sort them out
There's
as well.
the, one of my good friends and martial arts students from the little community that I live with, he's dedicated his whole life to saving the local wildlife. And he
Mm,
runs the Gower Bird Hospital, and he's incredibly intelligent, so gifted. He's studied, to master's level, and he's just dedicated his whole life to saving bats and hedgehogs and birds. And, it's just, ah, well
yeah,
done. Yeah,
yeah. If we all did a little bit like that, then the world would be a better place.
exactly, bro. Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, our
yeah,
brothers and sisters in the other animals, the other plants,
yeah,
the other life supporting systems. I mean,
yeah,
whether it's clouds or rivers or mountains, that we
yeah,
need. Same
yeah.
thing. We just
Yeah, absolutely. All life is sacred and it's all interconnected. It's yeah, one beautiful, beautiful thing.
yeah, yeah. I knew we'd get on, and Kazi was right. Our mutual friend Kazi was right to connect us, and yeah,
Yeah,
big love
she's
to
beautiful.
that legend, as you mentioned
Yeah,
before.
yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, so hang on, I've lost myself now because I got emotional and into the journey, but that's
Oh,
fine.
wonderful.
No, amazing, amazing. So yeah, we need people like you to talk about these things. Whether and
Yeah,
it's a shame, and I'm sorry if it hurts you to do so, but that
no,
is, I'm sure, it's part of something that you've taken on
yeah,
as a
it's cleansing. It
yeah,
really is. Yeah,
and it's part of the activism. I'm assuming
yeah,
part of
yeah,
your
absolutely.
self-imposed responsibility. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I first came aware of your passion, your determination, your knowledge, and your experience
mm,
when I saw a video of you on the 9th of August being arrested in a Parliament Square for holding up a sign.
yeah,
So if you want to share what the sign said, and you're arrested under the Terrorism Act
yeah.
2000.
And it was the second time.
Oh, was it? What was the first time?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The first one was the first one at
Oh, the fifth. Fifth,
July
wasn't
the
it?
5th, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know you were there as well. Oh,
Yeah, yeah, I was there, and my crime then, although they've accused me of holding up the same placard which says I oppose genocide because I do, and because I support, and he also said I support Palestine action because I do. That terrible terrorism, like here's a flower as well, So yeah, I've always got a flower when I say this, So there's the bit of gypsophilia, which we call baby's breath in Australia, isn't it? It's beautiful. Beautiful. So yeah, I was actually late for the first one,
okay.
and the day before I'd been at the I think it was the appeal to prescription
Yeah.
at the Royal Courts in London, and I was supposed to be staying in London that night and everything else. And the police, they just charged into it just to be a bit violent and attack people as they do in peaceful protests. So if anybody then carries out their British right of self-defense, they nail them for assaulting police officers.
Yeah.
So the police charged into that protest anyway, and I dropped my phone. It sounds more impressive when I say, "Oh, I was in a police charge and I broke my phone," but basically the police charged in, and I dropped my phone, like
Okay.
doing some fumbly old guy thing, and so yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
I lost all the information. So that night I had to get myself back to Swansea,
Hmm.
and I had a connection. I managed to have a contact with some of the people involved in the action, and one of them actually paid for my return ticket,
Very cool.
which is wonderful because I don't have an income anymore, So
Okay.
and they paid for my return ticket, so I got up early that morning and got the train back to London, and all I could remember was 1:30 Gandhi. So I didn't know where the meeting place beforehand was. I hadn't been in because I was asked relatively late. I didn't have any of the like bring a pen, bring a
Yeah.
placard. This is what you're going to write.
Yeah.
I just knew Gandhi 1:30. So Gandhi 130 I was, and I was standing there feeling a bit vulnerable, to be honest with you. And
Yeah.
there were loads of police, loads and loads of police, and these really, really angry gay women that were shouting at everybody. And I thought, well, I wonder if they're with us or not. You know, I
Yeah.
didn't know, you know, because I was completely ignorant to even to what they were shouting about. And the next thing, all of this group of people came over with the placards, and they sat down. It was like the forming of a shield wall, you know.
Okay. Yeah. Amazing.
And you know, there were one or two people sat around that I was having a bit of a chat with and things like that, and I didn't know that they were part of the action. And then all of a sudden, all of this shield wall came around us like that, and it was like, wow, it was a defense of love. You know what I mean? It was all like my type of people straight away. You know, they had like vegan shirts on and little old vicar ladies and stuff like that. And I was like, my type of people, shield wall away from the police. And I was like, I feel a lot safer now. And they all wrote on their placards and everything else. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember now what they were going to write, because I had been told a couple of weeks beforehand. And then a lady came along and gave me a white rose. And white roses to me signify truth in interaction. And a few months beforehand, I'd been with it wasn't the Red Line, I think it was PSC had done, where we took all of the names of the children that had been killed in Gaza to the Welsh Assembly.
Oh,
And
okay.
it wasn't the reading of the names, but it was just all these names written down. You know, I can send you some pictures of it. I think I got some on my phone somewhere. Yeah, and so I went in my nurse's. I got a nurse's uniform with a Palestinian flag on it, which Kazi incidentally reckons I look like a butcher in. But it was one of my actual nurse's uniforms. So now I'm like, oh my God, what must my patients thought? Like, you know, and it's got a Palestinian flag painted on my heart, you know. So I went to this Welsh Assembly thing with three white roses, and as one of the ministers was walking down the steps, I walked up and I said, will you accept this white rose? And he went, you know, it's a nurse giving him a flower. Like, so he took the rose off him, and it was a blatant trick on my part, you know. Okay. And I said, well, that signifies truth in your dealings with our interaction now, and I'm going to talk to you about Palestine. And I could, you know, he dealt with it really well. You know, I could see his face drop. He dealt with it really well. And his PA or one of his colleagues, you know, I don't mean to be patronizing, she was absolutely lovely. You could see that she was a compassionate soul. So I gave her a white rose as well. And then I said, would you come down and hold this sign with us, which has got like, I think it was 17,000 names of dead children on it at the time, you know. And down they came, and I started talking to them, you know, and I wanted their truth in their dealings with me, and I told them that. And of course, I'm reciting the things that I've seen done to children in Palestine to them, you know. And I started weeping, and the lady that's with him starts weeping, and you know, it was a very, very powerful scene. But at the time, there was no media coverage. You know, virtually no media coverage. I think one of the guys with us filmed it and took some photographs. That's it, you know. Because, you know, when I came back from Palestine in 2010, I was a lone voice in the dark, you know, an absolute lone voice in the dark. Anyway, I digressed, didn't I? So I had my white rose in my hand, you know, and all these people around me with placards, and there was a couple of guys from Cornwall, and they were very talkative, and they were like, you know, I'm a retired doctor, and, you know, blah, 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 and we were having a chat. And then the police came out, and they just started arresting everybody. So I just started, you know, when I just go, right, okay, click, unhinge my jaw and let it go, you know. And I just started howling at Parliament, you know, telling them, you know, what terrorism is, the things I've seen in Palestine, the things that they're involved in. And I just started shouting at them, and there were loads of people photographing. And there was a wonderful, wonderful interviewer from Iranian TV and Israeli, Britain, America were bombing Iran at the time, although Iran hasn't invaded another country for over 200 years, and they might have nuclear capability. Yeah. These psychopaths that were bombing everybody have got nuclear ability, but they're the good guys because America says so. You know, America and Britain says so. You know, I really want to do Team America now. Have you seen the Team America thing?
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I want to go, America, thank you, you know. But you know, just because, yeah. Anyway. So this lady had interviewed me the whole time, you know, even up to when we were going to be arrested, and she was videoing it as well, and I was howling and ranting at Parliament. And they basically walked up and arrested me for standing there with a white rose shouting. I hadn't held a placard at that time. I was just surrounded by these wonderful, brave, empathetic souls with their shield wall of love. And their shield wall of love says, I oppose genocide. I support Palestine action.
Okay.
So, yeah,
so
that was the first arrest anyway.
You hadn't actually held the sign at all?
No.
Wow.
No. And they accused me of it as well. And it's actually on my charge sheet. And I've got a video of the whole thing.
Okay. So I mean, the chances are that's going to be squashed anyway. But they were just told to get people out, moving.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it was definitely shut his mouth.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He's holding a flower.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was. I can't speak right now. Everyone else was in silence, I'm assuming, because it was a silent protest. Yeah, so that must have been actually quite powerful, and holding the white rose. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah,
I don't know if I've seen that. So yeah, if you have any footage of that, just send it to me because I'd love to see it. Not
I have. Yeah.
Not right now. Right now.
No, I'd be like, oh, my phone.
Oh, there goes the phone. You'll drop it again.
Shouting for my wife. You see my glasses? They're on your face, mate.
Shit! Not again. Oh man, but I mean that sounds really, really beautiful, and the thing with the children's name. I mean, children's names really powerful because you know it just is. That's what it's all. It's the innocence, isn't it? I mean, you know, we're all
completely. But our governments, you know, they big up their wars and everything else, and you know, 94% of people that are killed in modern day warfare are women, children. You know.
Oh, yeah.
Going to the park, you know, proud fathers going out to buy bread or something like this, you know what I mean? They're all just your average person, you know. It's not us against the bad guys as they try and put across.
And the bad guys are there for a reason. I mean, you know, they're responding to something, aren't they?
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
There are psychopaths or sociopaths of course, you know. There are extreme people all over the place.
Yeah.
But, you know, there are responses to actions that create these things, and I mean, this is a big debate and a big conversation. So let's, you know, we could get into it, but I think you'll.
Well, maybe we'll do that on another day.
Oh, I mean, maybe we could do that.
Talking about me, I'm a man.
If you have a specific podcast on that, I'll be happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea.
No, I agree. Yeah.
So you know, July the 5th, which was the day after. It was day after they were prescribed, wasn't it? It was.
I believe so. Yeah. Or turning down of the appeal and the day after they prescribed, I think, you know. Like a double whammy.
Yeah, which is anyway, it's just ridiculous. And then the August the 9th.
Yes.
So you were under bail conditions, I'm assuming, from the 5th.
Yes. Yeah. Although they were overthrown like the day before or something. For I think it was 5 defendants with HJA in London, but that sets a precedent, doesn't it? You know, then you know, I didn't actually break my bail charges until I finished the last N of Palestine Action, I guess. You know, so
yeah. And they were, you know, not to stay away from Westminster, is that right?
Stay away from Westminster and to stay in sleep in my own house every night.
Yeah, and to not partake in
any action, spontaneous or planned, in support of Palestine Action.
Yeah. Same. That's what I got on the 12th.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I heard about it when I heard that they were possibly going to be prescribed. I thought, okay, if there's going to be some kind of solidarity thing, I've got to be there, because it's just ridiculous. I mean, that's what did you feel the moment you heard that they were possibly going to be prescribed and then prescribed? What was that? What was it that you felt?
Well, anger and frustration, I guess, because it was obvious why it was happening. You know, it was obvious. It was an attempt to shut the mouth of the people that are bringing the world's attention, not just to Palestine, but in the complicity, and not just the complicity, the active participation of Britain. You know, and the weapons manufacturers. I don't think the average member of the public really knew the extent of weapons manufacturing in Britain until, you know, Palestine Action and a lot of people started to, you know, we started to shut down weapons manufacturers, and, you know, I think that's brought a lot of attention. But, you know, some of these places are in British suburbs, like at the Elbit systems in Bristol. I don't know if that's got the capacity to go bang, but if it does, it's going to take out junior schools.
Right.
You know, there's one about 200 meters down the road, you know. If that goes bang with some of the weaponry that I've seen coming from Elbit systems, it's going to be a really big bang, and there's going to be suburbs missing.
Yeah.
So
and Elbit Systems, it's owned by one billionaire, I believe. Is that right? It's one person who runs.
I believe so. Yeah. I get really frustrated. Like, I did a talk yesterday when I was talking about drones because of my exposure to drones and Elbit Systems. It was for the Filton 24. They are now. I did a talk at that yesterday, and I just opened up the Elbit site, and for some reason, where I clicked on, it came up with their ethics and their code of conduct.
Okay.
And of course, being a nurse and having studied ethics, I was spitting. I was like, you fucking, you know, your only fucking ethic is maleficence. You know what I mean? You only do it to do harm. Code of conduct is fucking murder. And I just clicked off it.
Okay.
So I can't say I'm an expert on Elbit other than, you know, seeing them burn children in their beds.
And do it for money.
Yeah, for money, purely for money. You know, we're killing people for money. We're committing a genocide, and we're doing it all for our resources, good. Money, resources and money. Yeah, that's what it's about at the end of the day. And you know, possibly they want a lot of the Holy Land as well, for their 100-year plan of their New World Order. So they've got a religious base that they can tie in their books to, and you know what I mean. It's insidious and spittle-mouth insane on so many fucking levels, like, you know.
Well, I mean, this is obviously why you're doing what you're doing, and so many people are doing what they're doing. I mean, on the 9th, we had over 500 people, 522, I think it was, in the end, arrested. I think 3 of which were for assault, but I don't think they're anything to do with the action at all. One guy, anyway, they're always showing those videos, you know, the ones that
of course,
3 who were like tussling, who were nothing to do with it. Anyway, that's it. That's that game that the media.
Oh for sure.
And we play.
They're always trying to get the moral high ground, and they've lost it.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and it's laudable. Their attempts to get it back are quite desperate.
Yeah, you know, in this one specifically. I mean, Yvette Cooper was one of the things is saying, you know, most people don't know the truth behind Palestine Action, and from what I understand, the truth is that you know these things are going on in court, so they can't be shared. First of all, innocent before proven guilty. So you should be able to share them. And also you shouldn't be prescribing them as a terrorist group until they're actually found guilty.
Exactly.
And secondly, as far as I know, it's assault on a couple of security officers and a couple of policemen. I mean, I don't know the numbers, but I think that's where they're saying we have a right to prescribe them. And it just doesn't sit right with anyone. I mean, I'm sure it doesn't sit right with Yvette Cooper, let alone anyone else. I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the things that she said when the Tory government were increasing the laws on protest, she was saying exactly opposite of what she's saying now. But this is again, it's down to the economic system and the lobbyists, and being in power can't be easy. So I actually up to a level up to a level, I have a level of sympathy with them, because they've got into this bucket of toxicity. They're melting, and the only way to stop melting is to paddle. And the only people who are holding hands or holding those hands out or giving them paddles to paddle with are the billionaires and the lobbyists and the big business. So there's
and then they're dirty in their hands. On purpose. You know what I mean? It's like, if I rescue you, you're dirty now, you're mine. It's £215,000 it took for Yvette Cooper, but as I said on the 9th, as you probably heard in my tirade, they're hoes in their ivory tower. They'll still bend over for enough money. Kyle Starmer certainly has. She has. They're all on their friends of Israel, and that always strikes me as weird. You know what I mean? If you were good, why would you need a friends lobby? Do we have a Friends of Jamaica lobby as well? Do we have, like, I don't know, Friends of Jabrovia?
And we have to prove that we're friends because we have a group.
Exactly. Look at my gang. You want to be in my gang? Yeah, we all know about Gary Glitter. Anyway.
Well, I heard about your tangents. You're Mr. Tangent.
I go off on one.
I love it. Amazing. It's really good. As I said, in when we message each other, I think, just being you, be you.
Mm.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
what we all need. That's what we
good.
should all be demanding, is just
Yeah,
be
and
us.
we shouldn't feel self-conscious about being ourselves.
No, no.
Doesn't matter who we are or what we identify as, or things like that. We're one humanity, and we all share the same love, and we're all struggling the same struggles, and most of our struggles are there by the people who judge us for our humanity.
Yes.
As I said earlier to you about this media idea that we all must be emotionless drones that just do as we're told. No. To be human is to have emotion.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you will talk about it, the Egyptian desert and things. I'm guessing at some point.
If you want.
But yeah, when I got back, and I decided to back up my new friend Bob Villan, sorry,
Bob.
with what he shouted, and I don't with death or violent death on anybody, but an institution that I've seen carrying out the horrors that they carry out. Fair enough, and I also shouted death to the arms trade, and that's, even though now it's over 300 million people have seen that video from the Egyptian desert and liked it. So there's more that have seen it. The British media haven't said a word about it. They haven't talked to me.
Do you want to expand on that? Expand on that, on what the Egyptian desert experience?
You haven't seen that?
I think I've seen it. Just expand on it. Yeah.
So after getting back from Palestine, in when did I get back? February, March, April. I got back in April. I was obviously, you know what I mean. I'm if I accepted the labels, I'm definitely a complex PTSD. The way I compartmentalize things and all the rest of it. But it allows me to do this.
Yeah.
Which is an amazing thing. A truly amazing thing. It needs to be done. So anyway, when I got back, I was going, I need to do more. I was traumatized, and what I'd seen in Palestine this time was more insipid. It was more Nazi Germany. It was more, you have the papers for the checkpoint. If you don't, I'm going to humiliate you. I may even just shoot you on the side of the road. It was absolutely awful. I was seeing them, shooting in refugee camps, and in insane levels of ethnic cleansing and things like that. Like the cleansing of the camps they do, where they go in and they just get everybody who's got a disability, a learning difficulty, or the blind, and they either shoot them or put them in the desert.
They do that now?
Yes, now.
And the IDF do that? That's the IDF?
Yeah, that's done now, and that's a policy of Israel.
And you've seen that? Or
I've seen that, yes. Yeah. I could tell you much, but I got to be conscious sometimes of the things that I say, because I don't want to upset your listeners.
No.
But I've seen things which are so horrific, and if you think, I worked emergency. I was an emergency A&E nurse and outreach medic in this country, for decades. So when I say, look, something is disturbing, believe me, it is dark and it's disturbing. No,
say it, because I mean, if people don't want to listen, they have the ability to turn off. So
okay, well, I saw people and met people there that thought they'd go to heaven if they shot a woman through her child.
How does that work?
That's a heaven I don't even want to perceive exists. And the amount of pregnant women that are shot. There was a pro recently.
Is that classed the same? Is that classed as?
Yeah. That's really good. And then going out to them, and you can see where the snipers had shot down the same hole. Wow. And seeing that in children as well, where they shoot in, one sniper will shoot so they'll die slowly and make a lot of noise, so they cause terror. So it's not just about killing people; it's about causing terror, about destroying the psyche of the people, breaking down the psychology of the people. So shoot a child slow, and so it dies slowly. When you've got a high-powered rifle, you're a couple of 100 meters away. You've got a sight where you could shoot somebody from, a kilometer away, and you leave them 3 hours to die.
Yeah.
And I hope you've never heard a 9-year-old boy die with a gut wound. I really hope that's never happened to you, and it never will. And they do this on purpose to destroy the psyche of the people. it's the same with the home invasions and things like that. Nowhere's safe. We can always get you. You know, this sort of thing. So I've digressed so much now. I've lost my initial train of thought.
No, this is really interesting and really important, I think. So don't worry at all. I mean, we're talking about the and I do want to get back to these bits, but let's talk about the Egyptian desert. So
yes, Egyptian desert. Sorry, No. So when I got back, we were talking about the insipid nature, the evil that was there. You know what I mean? And not just the industrial murder I'd seen in the past. You know, this was
just to quickly. So this. What you just mentioned about, you know, the shooting and so on, that was a step up from what you'd seen before.
Yes.
And they're getting rid of the blind and the disabled. That was a step up from what you've seen before.
Yes. Oh, I'd heard that it had happened, similar things had happened, but I hadn't physically seen it.
Okay, so this is the insipid thing that you were getting. You've realised it was becoming insipid, and now you come back. Okay. Now
So I was at home and I was thinking, right, I got to do more. I was going to protests. And I was trying to speak, but at the time I just couldn't speak. You know what I mean? Every time I tried to open my mouth, I couldn't stand up. You know what I mean? It had got that bad to me. And because I was an endurance runner, I turned to my wife, my poor long-suffering wife, and I said, I know what I can do to bring public awareness and things. I'm going to run the Gaza, and it's okay. It's only 91.5 marathons back to back. And it's the only time she's ever said to me, if you do that, I'm going to leave you. You're not going to survive that. And, you know, I'm not the type of guy that goes out down the pub and gets into trouble and puts his wife through trouble that way. You know what I mean? I don't drink. It's not my scene, you know. But what I put my wife through, you know, from the things that I do, you know, she's amazing. So that's the only time she's ever turned around and said, if you do that, I'm going to leave you.
Are you happy to share her name?
Her name's Maz.
Maz.
Yeah, she's beautiful, absolutely beautiful individual. How she ended up with me, I don't know. But literally the next day, then I saw the march to Gaza.
Oh yes.
So I went, love, I'm not going to run to Palestine, and she's like, oh, brilliant, good. I'm going to walk instead. She was like, you twat. You know. And then I told her about the march to Gaza and everything. So anyway, off we went to Egypt. Excuse me, and there was I think about 2,000 of us from I think it was 54 different countries, and we got to the plan was to travel to Al-Arish, I think, or Al-Arish, can't remember anyway, which is in the north of Egypt on the side of the Sinai Desert. Now I crossed the Sinai before, and it was a beautiful experience, but now it's a big military area. You know, it's where the boys get together and show off their big rockets. You know what I mean?
Nice.
You know, yeah.
It's our kind of place. Our kind of place.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah. Yeah, I just can't grasp it. You know, I can remember seeing listening to Gerald Biafra from the Dead Kennedys back in I think it's back in the 70s or the early 80s, and he'd taken a recording of Ronald Reagan saying, if we're not careful, the Ruskies are going to sneak up behind us and lob big guns up our back doors. And I was like, yeah, it is actually really homophobic. And, you know, these are little white boys who probably had an Oedipus complex and mummy didn't say yes. And they're really homophobic as well, you know. Yeah. Anyway. So that was the plan of getting there and then doing a symbolic walk across the Sinai, which Jesus did. And, you know, we were going to end at the bottom of Mount Sinai, where Moses came down with the tablets from the voice of God. This sort of thing. We're going to end there at the Rafah border and request the raising of the siege on Gaza. It was beautiful. You know, a beautiful commitment from activists and good, just generally good people from 54 different countries.
Yeah.
So we got to the second checkpoint. Well, it's like a road toll checkpoint in Egypt, you know. And there was only like 5 or 6 armed police there. And they were getting all Europeans, all Westerners, white people basically out of their cars, which is quite refreshing, you know what I mean? A bit of bias against white people for a difference. You know? What? Yeah, exactly. That's why it's so refreshing for me and you to be white terrorists, isn't it? You know what I mean? Yeah, that's it. So yeah, they were taking everybody out of the cars, and you know, to be fair, the Egyptians, will you leave my taxi? And I'm like, yeah, no worries. Although I hope he never gets found. our first taxi driver, because there were 4 of us in a taxi, and the first taxi driver, he went, there's a problem at the border, there's armed police taking people's passports and things, and I've gone to him, yeah, you know what I mean, and he's looked at me, and I've gone inshallah like this to him, you know, and he's just gone, when he sneaked around and he took us past it.
Oh, wow.
You know, and I don't mean he's gone out into the desert and driven around it. He pulled out into like public service vehicles that have no white people in them. You can pass, and he just pulled into that, and he just drove straight through.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, yeah, yeah, well done, because it's very brave. You know what I mean? He could well get, you know, sure, 20 years in prison or shot for it. You know. Yeah. So we got to the second checkpoint, and everybody was being taken out of their cars, and you know, I can't fault the Egyptian people. You know, they're very pro-Palestine, and you know, we were putting them in danger by being there. You know, so got out of the taxis, like little sort of like little vans with like 10 seats in or something. So we got out of the taxi there, and when I walked through to see what's going on, because there's like a couple of thousand people there now, or about 1,000 people to see what's going on, and there's a couple of cops, they take people's passports off them, and I'm like, nah, don't be giving people your passport, like, you know. Oh, but they got you, especially if they got uniforms on, don't give them passports, because I've always seen passports as the papers for the checkpoint. Yes, it's like no. You know, I shouldn't. Does that goose need a passport? You know, what's this imaginary line on the ground here? You know, where here I'm legal, here I'm illegal. Don't people bloody stupid? Anyway, I digress again. So we gone into into this sort of almost like a holding area. It's like a big field with floodlights on it, and I'm going, come on, doesn't matter if they got your passports or not. What are they going to do? We march to Gaza. Let's go. You know, and I couldn't. It was pretty cool, which is, you know, very, very understandable. I'm far from perfect, and it was starting to get a very unsettling experience now. Things that people hadn't experienced before. You know, I protested it all over the world, and you know, this was virtually a new thing on me as well. So as we were sitting there, I could see that there were buses coming with more and more riot police, and their riot police love them. You know, it's stinking hot, and they're dressed like RoboCop. You know, they're covered in armored gear and helmets and everything. You know, and they are dressed like RoboCop. So, you know, we were sharing water with them and asking them, if do you want me to come buy you a nice lolly or something? You know, you're stinking hot, you're in the Egyptian desert, sort of thing. And then I could see them starting. It had gone dark, and the floodlights had come on. You know, and there was definitely 2,000 of us then. And everybody was splitting off into their little delegations, which is understandable in one way, but I just think a bit weird in another one. You know, we're all settled in the desert. We're all together, like, you know what I mean? I don't care if you're from Belgium or if you're from Britain. It doesn't matter, you know.
It just seems to happen that way, though, doesn't it? It does seem to happen. It seems, for whatever reason, it's a human you know, response, isn't it?
So Mike tried. Ook, beat the tree. Double opposing thumbs.
Well, supposedly, we're not supposed to know more than 100, 150 people in our world anyway.
Right,
our brains can't do more than that. So sort of makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I could see the riot police were lining up and they were starting to come around us, I was like, fuck, they're going to stop us now, you know? And I've come this far, and you know, 3 times or twice I'd already had to skip my way past police and, you know, stuff like this anyway, because they came to talk to me. I was arrested 3 times in Israel, you know, so they came to have a chat with me in my hotel, and, you know, I was a bit paranoid, you know, the coincidence was a bit much. So I was like, oh, bollocks, we're going to get caught, you know, in the Egyptian desert, aren't we? And I could see they were starting to kettle us, and, you know, kettling isn't there to contain people for their own safety, like the Met may tell you, because I studied it when I worked as an outreach medic with them. You know, I worked as a clinical specialist for years. You know, so I'd go in, you know, pretty much like the Welsh police did in London. You know, they were on big money to go to London to do something they shouldn't really be doing. You know, only I should have been doing the things I was doing in London. But yeah, I was there for some of the training on kettling, and kettling is there to cause fear, to cause terror in the ranks of the people that are being kettled, so they don't stand strong, they fall over one another. with fear, and they end up they're a big pile and they're easy to drag out. Yeah. They're not going to fight as hard, this sort of thing. So I could see this happen, and I was like, right, what can I do? And I'd seen some of these riot police had Palestinian flag rings on and things like this, and since I've been told off by Egyptians for this, but it's like, look, I did this for the people of Gaza and I did it for the people of Palestine. There's 6 million of them. There's only one of me, and there's only a few hundred of those riot police. I'm sorry, but if you talk about collateral damage, anyway. So I was thinking, but the children of Islam, they're taught to be compassionate. They are taught to share. They are being taught that what is happening is a genocide of a Muslim people. So right, what's the only thing I can do? I'm going to go up and I'm going to open my heart to you. I'm going to tell you the things that keep me awake at night. I'm going to tell you the things that wake my poor, long-suffering wife up every night. Now, as I said to Kazi, and I'd forgotten I said it to Kazi, and she quoted it a couple of days ago, I think, in my interaction with you, I think it was, or when she posted something online about me. And it is that I turned to her and I said, I don't think I'll ever sleep again.
Okay.
I don't think I'll sleep through the night again, So I thought, right, the only thing I can do now is give you a piece of my heart and see if that works, because I know we're going to get surrounded and beaten up in the desert, simple as that. People were still having faith in people in uniforms. And I'm like, look, I'm sorry, I know a lot of very, very good people that are soldiers. I know a lot of very, very good people that are police, but we're going to get beaten up in the desert, simple. So I went up and I just opened my heart. And I made a genuine appeal from my heart. And some people have said it was staged. It was like, Christ, if I was that good an actor, I wouldn't have been a skint nurse for a living. You know what I mean? Bloody nurses aren't allowed money. We only help people and save people's lives and end suffering and allow people to die with dignity and all of those terrible terrorist acts, Bloody, get my flowers out because I'm a terrorist.
Naughty.
So I just poured my heart out to them. And I didn't realize it was being filmed. And I didn't realize until maybe 3/4 of the way through that people were filming it, when people point their phone at me, I'm like, what's wrong with you, bloody weirdo? I grew up in the days before that, like some people trying to use their phone almost as a weapon these days. I'm like, oh, yeah, well done, So I didn't realize I was being filmed until 3/4 of the way through it. And even then, it was irrelevant to me. I didn't.
Of course.
So what? You filmed me crying? Yeah, great. Do you want to film me having a pee as well? I do that often as well.
That's a natural process too. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And that went viral, and to me it displays the beauty and the love in the heart of humanity.
Yeah.
Because one white boy crying in a desert had such a massive effect. I had ministers from Turkey, ministers from Malaysia, heads of state were thanking me. I was played in mosques in Iraq, and you don't play anything in a mosque in Iraq. Definitely not a little Welsh guy.
Wow. Okay.
And it had a huge impact, and it has put me onto an international stage that I never wanted, but for Palestine and to end a genocide, or just to be a little key that helps open the door. You know what I mean? If I'm a tiny little bit of a cog, I'm proud to do that, and I'll do it.
That's what it's all about. That's what protests and actions are all about. Being an activist is all about. It's not about you and me. It's not about what we gain. We might gain from it, and that's fine. But it's about being. It might not even happen in our lifetimes, the change, but being a part of that little stream turning into an ocean.
Exactly
what it's all about. And did it make a difference to the situation there?
Well, it did, but not until the very, very end, really. You know what I mean? Because the Egyptians, like you'll understand this statement as we talk further. The Egyptian military and authorities have got the good grace to employ bad guys from the desert to come and do their dirty work. Yeah. So they paid lots of probably very hungry people to come and beat us while they kettled us and throw things at us and drag us out of there. So they didn't look dirty. They did have plainclothes police in there, because I recognized one of the plainclothes policemen who was doing some of the dirty work, because he interviewed me 2 nights before in my hotel. So it's like, oh, I got you, busted, you know. So, but at least they had the good grace to employ some bad guys to come and do it. But hungry people they are basically, who have no money. So they
do a
came.
lot of. Sorry, carry on.
No.
We'll do a lot out of necessity, won't we? Survival
Yeah.
is a different situation altogether.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever been deprived of food, but after 3 or 4 days, mate, honestly.
Yeah, not that long. We had a few meals, you know, missing when we were kids and so forth.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, that's nothing.
Yeah, exactly. What do they say? We're 2 meals away from anarchy.
Yeah.
But people don't realize we live in a state of perpetual anarchy. It's just we govern ourselves, and that's what anarchism is, you know. Anyway. So
no, just before you carry on, if you're happy with this, that's exactly where I saw you before. That is where I saw you before, because when I saw you on the August the 9th being interviewed, I was like, okay, I've seen this guy before. Have I met him in any of the actions? Have I done that? But now that story has just gone ping.
Yeah, got you.
That was exactly where I've seen you before. So yeah. So that's I think a lot of people will have seen that video. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
It's wonderful the effect that it had.
But this is, you know, with groups, non-violent direct action groups, if your core and your starting point is love, then you know you might get beaten along the way, but you cannot lose. You just cannot lose. So I think I mean, did you get beaten in the end? Did a lot of people get beaten? Were they?
I've been beaten up quite a bit in my life. You know what I mean? I'm a tough old boy, and you know what I mean. And I linked arms with a lot of very, very powerful Palestinians, primarily women. One amazing guy I met from Manchester, and he was amazing because it was a contrast to everything in his character to be where we were, you know. And we linked arms in the desert, and there was about 50 of us, maybe 100 of us in a corps at the end. And this is where it made a difference. So I noticed when I was talking to the Egyptian police, the military had come in behind, you know, and there was a military commander there, and you heard me saying to the Egyptian police, you know, have you ever smelt a starving baby? Have you ever heard the cries of a Muslim woman when she can't feed her child, you know, she can't breastfeed her child because her breasts are empty from starvation, and there's an acrid smell to it. In medicine we smell diabetics when they're becoming acidotic, and they smell like pear drops, you know, like an acidic sort of smell, and it's like that, only it's 100 times more potent, and they start to sweat out the fecal matter and things like this, you know, and there's just a certain smell which it's the smell of starvation, you know. So yeah, you heard that I was saying that, and I could see this military commander in the background, and he was weeping, you know, he's weeping. So right at the end, we were getting kettled down to, there was about, you know, because we started off at about 2,000. It takes a long time to drag that many people out, beat them up, you know. So we were down to the end, and I pulled my backpack over us, and I linked arms with mainly Palestinian women and American Palestinian women as well. And it must have been about 3:30 in the morning, and everybody, they started singing from the Quran, and it stopped the police dead. The police just stopped, and just the power of the emotional content of what they were saying, because, you know, we were in a terribly compromised place. You know, there were arms there. There were the Egyptians with throwing, not the Egyptians themselves, but these people that had been employed. Anything they could pick up, they were hitting us with. You know, there was one guy using chain to hit people with and things like this. And it was really down to a point now where we are the last ones, and, you know, where's this going to go? And they just came out and they just burst with song, and I you know, again, I cried, and it was just a wonderfully powerful thing, you know. I did start singing Men of Harlech, but it didn't have the same ring to it, mate, you know, to be honest with you. But yeah, it was wonderfully powerful. And then that military commander marched his men between us and the bad guys. He just marched his men in, and he was like, this ends now. This is over.
Okay.
And, you know, somebody came through from one of the delegations, and they were going, look, he's saying it's over now, that's enough. And we all just collectively just got up and went, okay, fair enough, let's go. You know, and we all were bruised and battered, but we hadn't got to the point where they'd beaten us enough to drag us out of there. So
Wow. Well, I mean that moment. Well, first of all, the singing.
yeah,
Well, say no. First of all, your heartfelt outpour, whatever you want to call it. That
yeah,
must have been an emotional,
yeah.
amazingly powerful and wonderful moment, and you'll never forget, I'm sure.
No,
People around you, the singing, well, the linking of arms, the singing.
yes, yeah,
I mean, and then that movement of the army
yeah,
in between you
yeah,
and the. I mean, I've had minuscule moments like that in my form of activism, and that's
yeah,
just, I mean, minuscule. And these for me are really bright, beautiful, unique, magical
yeah,
moments, and I know
absolutely.
I will never forget them with the people
Yeah,
I've been.
absolutely. Me neither.
So that I can't imagine how your heart and your soul must have been glowing
Yeah,
with 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 energy,
yeah,
with and a mixture of energy,
mm,
power, uh, fear, sadness.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
just that
mm,
of everything
yeah.
must have.
Pure entwined love.
Oh
You know
my,
what I mean? It was like, you know what I mean? It could have been an epiphany. You know what I mean? It was, you know, it was
yeah,
a shining light. You know what I mean? It was a magical thing. You know, it really was. And
yeah,
it was purely the power of love overcoming the power of greed and oppression. You know, it really, really was, like, you know, and
amazing.
it's a shame that you know, because we were being beaten, and there were, you know, enough people came to beat 2,000 people and drag them out to the desert.
Yeah,
When you're down to the last 100, then your world is just people that are hitting you.
yeah,
You know, you can't get your phone out and go, oh, I'm going to film you now, because they'll smash hell out of you, drag your phone out of your hand, drag you off into the desert. The only thing I could do was link arms with my brothers and sisters, and my identify as whatever you like, and I'll still love you as. And yeah, we were just there till the bitter end, you know. And yeah, it was incredibly powerful. I'm just sorry it wasn't on film. It was more powerful than my impassioned appeal, you know.
Well, I mean, I think the revolution won't be televised and blah 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 blah. I
For
think it,
sure, for
yeah,
sure.
the most powerful moments aren't
Mm,
orchestrated. I mean, they're
yeah,
not captured.
yeah,
They are just lived by those people,
exactly.
and that I can imagine that little spot in the desert will remember it too.
Yeah,
It's a holy,
yeah,
it's gonna be like a, whatever you call it, a holy space or a holy place.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I can imagine the grass will grow more verdant there.
Me
You
too.
know.
I can
Yeah,
imagine that.
yeah,
The animals passing by going,
yeah.
oh,
Wow. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
the,
Birds flying around it. You know.
the worms underneath and all that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Beautiful.
There was a lot of energy there that night. You know, it was a very powerful evening.
Yeah, and all that anger would have dissipated
Yeah,
into nothing.
yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, thank you so much for sharing that with
No worries, no worries.
with us. I mean, we can talk about a lot more, and I'd love to talk
Mm,
about your experiences in Palestine
yeah,
and in Gaza. Have you been to Gaza? You say I can't remember
I've
if
been there 4 times.
you have. Okay.
Yeah,
And West Bank. Have you been to the
yeah.
is it Golan Heights as well? Have you been?
I haven't been to the Golan Heights. No,
Okay.
no. I'd love to,
So West
but
Bank and Gaza in Palestine
yeah,
are the
yeah.
two places you've
Well,
been.
I've been, you know, top to bottom all around Palestine, you know,
Oh,
and
you have.
sometimes in one night I wouldn't even know what I was. You know, I'd get into an ambulance, or I'd get into a van because somebody needs help, and
Yeah.
there's a medical team gets into the van.
Yeah.
I don't know where I am. We drove really fast for 3/4 of an hour. In what direction? I don't know. I
Yeah.
got out. There were people dying. They needed help. I did
Yeah.
my best. We
Yeah.
were being shot at. Where are you, Leigh? What was the date? What was the time? I'm alive.
Yeah.
I was so scared. I broke my fucking teeth.
Wow.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, that's living, isn't it?
yeah, yeah.
What we
Absolutely.
do, what we do in the West really isn't
Yeah,
living. It's not living. I don't know what it is. It's getting by. It's
yeah,
complying. It's not living. I mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've
We're plugged into a machine, you know, and we have to run on the treadmill every day, and you know, and then there's snippets of life, you know, love or lust, or
yeah, yeah,
you know, a little bit of trouble comes our way, or you know, we do something, we've saved for a while and we get to do something that we wanted to do, and those 2 weeks are so precious to us, whereas every minute of our lives should be that precious. You know, we're surrounded by the most beautiful, perfect, incredible world. You know, there's magic everywhere. There's love everywhere. You know, I've been all over the world, you know, and if you look at our media, it's a terrible place and you're all going to die, you know, and it's not. It's a beautiful place full of beautiful people that are sharing love with one another and getting by through life. And laughter is priceless, and the laughter of a child is a form of magic in its own right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, bro, I went off on one again.
Not at all. That was linked. That was totally linked and fully linked. I mean, I think it's those moments, you know, you often hear it, you know, people who have nearly died, people who have faced death or pain or suffered for weeks and years and whatever. They appreciate the moment. They appreciate
absolutely
the life and the beauty of it all. And it's just dumbed here. And I you know, speaking with you and hearing these stories, I'm the kind of person I just want to drop everything and go. I want to drop everything and just go and just go anywhere, and not anywhere, but you know, just go and find my nature, find my wild, find my my purpose. You know, my there's this I can't remember what the name, the presenter of a BBC documentary on the moment called Human, which is it's all about who we are and what we're meant to be, and she was just being interviewed by anyway, someone, I can't remember what his name was, Christian, what's his name? Anyway, he's quite a famous news person. And she was saying, you know, we are cave people. We are not meant to be in this complex.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We are this. And you know, you see it in the animals. The animals live, they you know, they search for food, shelter, and mate, and to reproduce.
Yeah.
And that's what we are. We are basically the same, but we have covered ourselves in whatever we've covered ourselves in. And it just doesn't feel right. Some people, it feels right. And it hasn't felt right for me forever.
No.
And coming back to the UK, I lived on this Greek island, which was more like that. It was hand to mouth, more rough, more, you know, okay, I didn't, you know, we're having water issues, we're having electricity issues. We can't, you know, sometimes food issues and so forth. I worked with wild animals over there at Wildlife Hospital. That kind of thing was just like, I'm living today.
Yes.
And the trouble is, I've come over, I mean, I'm going to rant about myself a little bit. I came over 12, 15 years ago. And you're not allowed just to live today.
No.
You're not allowed, no, even your friends, your family, your society, or whatever, don't say, well, what about retirement? Well, what about next week? What about saving? What about this?
Yeah.
And I understand it. And the older I get, the more worried I get, because I'm thinking, I've got no savings. I don't have a house. I don't have anything. But I don't know if I'm going to die tomorrow. You know, and it's not necessarily that. It's just, I'm not wired for that.
No.
And the more I think about it, the sadder I get, the more quiet I get, the more not me I am. And I think that happens with a lot of people, and therefore you lose yourself, and you can't work out who you are. And when you reach out to TV or to news, this is who I am. This is who I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. This is be obsessed with the aesthetic.
Yes, and this is who I mean, because I don't know who I am anymore. So I'm taking who I am from other people. Until you get to that moment where where you got cancer, or where you've had a car crash, or whatever. Where you experience something like you have on a you know, and we're a species that, you know, and then you change, and then you change. It's like people who smoke, you know, you're gonna get cancer. You smoke.
Yeah.
Until you get it, you carry on smoking, and it's just and it's alcohol and all these things that are available to us because again. And you and I will agree that the toxic vein of it all is modern capitalism. It is just growth, GDP. Disgusting.
Yeah, absolutely. Noam Chomsky, I agree with him. He said that, you know, neoliberal capitalism is the biggest threat that life on this planet has ever seen, and I'm 100% behind him. You know,
I agree. Yeah,
you know,
I agree. I mean, if we all stood up against capitalism to change it to degrowth, to the donut economy, to different forms of economy that were kind, compassionate, and full of love, then the whole thing would disintegrate into love, compassion, and kindness.
Exactly, and we wouldn't have that internal conflict anymore.
No,
we wouldn't have this internal conflict of I'm doing this, but I should be out there running, you know, on the plains or swimming or running through the rainforest, and you know what I mean. I should be climbing a tree. You know, this is what we program for. Not all these flashing images, and then appeal to your sexuality, appeal to your base primary instincts to make you obsessed with the aesthetic and what you have, and you mustn't share. And you know, it's not who we are, and so many of us have got these depressive disorders. And a lot of the talks that I do, and when I used to counsel people and things, as a nurse, not that I was a counselor, I was a nurse, but people would, pour their heart out, and they'd be like, look, there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
Everything you're experiencing is something that's right with you. Yeah. It's a society that wasn't designed for us, a society that wasn't designed for a natural human being, how to act, Yeah. It's a society that was designed by inhuman people for their own goal. People who are sociopathic, that don't have empathy, that only have greed, that just want to gain, just want to profit. And as I said earlier, I had Oedipus complexes and little willies, and their mums didn't want to sleep with them. Not. So also, hence they have to make big rockets to compensate.
Also, little willies is not anyone's fault, so I don't think.
No. That's it. Measles is a terrible thing, but
Well, I mean, we're all born differently, aren't we? So
absolutely, yeah. That was just my bad humor.
You're being facetious there, I know.
Yeah. But it causes so many problems in us, and those problems shouldn't exist.
Well, exactly. I mean, the whole thing. I mean, we could talk about little willies, for example. They're just as good as any kind of willy.
Absolutely.
We're told that there's something wrong with them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
There's
nothing wrong with that.
I used to work with all women and nurses, and a nurse turned around to me one night and she said, right, get your finger and jam it in your ear like that, and then get this little hair clip and tickle around in your ear with it. And so I did them both. She went, which one feels nicer? I was like, oh, the little hair clip. Keep this thing that just jams into me. So
anyway. Good lessons.
See, we're men. We've digressed. We've ended up talking about the dick.
Well, we know, we're obsessed with them, aren't we? Or we're told to be obsessed with them, and therefore we are.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, my little nephew at the moment, I've got 3 nephews and a niece, and I was sitting with my brother and his partner, Lucy, Jake and Lucy, and Rafi, the little nephew. He's 2.5, coming up to be 3 in November. And they were saying, oh, he's getting Willy obsessed now.
Yeah, pulling it this far.
Yeah, and he was on the chair, and he had his little Willy on the table. He was just like resting around everything. And it's just what we do. It's what we are.
Exactly.
And we don't grow out of that, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, from Willies, onto feminism, if we may.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is something that Kazi mentioned about you. You're you stand up for a lot of things.
Yes.
And you mentioned the women in your life. You mentioned your mother. You didn't mention any of the women. If you're happy to mention them, that's cool. Who influenced you, the powerful women. You mentioned the powerful Palestinian women.
Yes.
There is obviously something that's that you recognize, that you see, that you champion. So, I mean, where do you think all that started? How did it sort of bubble up into your psyche, into your you, and how do you see that manifest in your everyday sort of life?
Well, probably, we return to my childhood, but my father was not there very often and wasn't a very pleasant man. Quite an unpleasant man, but my mum was very, very strong in my life, a very, very strong female input in my life, and did quality things like just brought me up just to be myself. Whatever I want to be, just be it. And allowed me to cry, and there was none of this boys don't cry sort of business. You know what I mean?
The best gift.
What a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful gift to give me.
What's her name, if you're happy to share?
Rena, her name was. Which is an Indian name, because her dad served in India in the Second World War as a military policeman, and
Do you know what it means? Does it mean anything?
Oh no, I did know this, but I've forgotten, which is quite embarrassing. Quite embarrassing.
You got a lot on your mind, man. Come on, you have a lot.
Oh yeah. There's tons of stuff in there, isn't there? You know what I mean? There's loads of stuff in there. But yeah, she was a very, very strong influence in my life, and she brought me up with an ideology of equality and anti-oppression, and was always horrified at racism and sexism. And she had some friends around her that were very, very positive women. And then I left school and I left home quite early, and it was usually women that came through, whether, you know, not lovers, but it was usually like my friend's mum let me live in their attic, which was sort of half converted, you know, when I was a homeless teenager, this sort of stuff, you know. And it was his mum who did that, not his dad. His dad wasn't impressed, you know, this sort of thing, you know. And yeah, and then as I've traveled over the years, you know, and I go to different countries, I see how the men are out there making a big noise. It's the women that are holding everything together. You know, it's the women that are making a big difference. You know, they are mother protectors, and you know, the mother protector doesn't just go to their own children. You know, they project that onto other people's children, onto other people, and they are the basis of community. And you know, I believe, you know, I might be wrong here, but when we go back in history to a certain point, most tribes become matriarchal. And you know, like the Bavarian tribes, the women used to lead the Bavarian tribes, and I believe it was the Celts were led by the women as well, hence Boudica and the such like. So, but it's very apparent to me as I've travelled and been an outsider in war zones and in areas that need aid. It's the strength of the women that are holding everything together, you know. So
yeah. So you break the women, you break the
yeah, absolutely.
Which sounds like what you've witnessed in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So and how does that manifest? I mean, you know, would you call yourself a feminist, or you just believe in equality and kindness and love for everything?
Yeah, I'd say I'm more of an equalist, but I definitely have a penchant to what wrong word.
Conscience.
Yeah, penchant. There we are. Yeah. Oh, well done, my friend. Yeah. Towards women, because they tend not to be like all about football and willies and beer. Yeah. Which, you know, none of them appeal to me at all in the slightest, you know. But yeah, they tend to be more articulate, more creative, just better company, really. Yeah. So I'm very flattered that Kazi calls me a feminist. You know, I also, you know, try and keep in my mind a lot of the time, although I'm not always successful, that I'm a victim of a patriarchal society as well. And it's had a huge influence on the type of person that I am. And I've got to combat that. You know, it's only up to me to form personal change.
Actively.
And, yeah. And I see the need for that personal change, you know, daily. I'll find myself sometimes, you know, I'll be somewhere and I'll go, you know, I've sat with elders of gentle races. I've got a master degree in Chinese martial arts. I've trained in the Wudang Mountains. I've sat with sadhu, you know, and you know, I pride myself on you know, that I've followed these beliefs and these things to my extremities, but sometimes boobies, you know, and I recognize that in myself, and I just think, oh God, you know.
Yeah. That's well, I mean, the booby scene sort of makes sense up to
kind of,
because it's a, you know, for all babies, not only men. I mean, you know, it's a survival thing. It's what it's how we live and what we. And I love the story. You know, that, you know, if you leave a baby, you know, if the baby, you know, give birth to a baby, the baby will find the breast.
Yes.
I think that's amazing. I mean, you know, we all need to do that.
Yeah.
I know, you know, need is a big word,
but to have the sucker of a mother, have the you know, we all remember this warm, this precious place. If we've had place.
Safe place, isn't it?
Exactly, a safe place. Yeah,
really safe. And back to I mean, you may have seen this, but and probably know this, but there are only 3 species on the planet that have that where women go through menopause.
Right.
And the human species, killer whales, orcas, and elephants. And
wow.
This is where the matriarch in all 3 species are vital.
Yes.
Without them, you know, we disintegrate into nothing. The orcas wouldn't learn how to hunt or go places. The elephants would not be able to find their water, and obviously much more. And we would not be able to carry on with love, and we will self-destruct. I mean, you know, and that's what's happening because we are dismissing the matriarchs. You know, left, right, and centre. We're just putting them into corners to dribble, and so forth. And you know, they become the wise women. They become what we used to burn as witches.
Yeah, as witches. Yeah.
And they're so important. I mean, so therefore, you know, we need to be, you know, bigging up and actively protecting and comforting and loving everyone. But there, you know, if we want the species to carry on, we need to be doing that for women from birth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Until they're passing, yeah. And it's
Yeah.
and to be actively doing that. And as you said, I mean, the amount of times I catch myself, as you said, it could be boobies, it could be whatever it is, or just the way I speak.
Yeah, the way I speak sometimes,
yeah.
Words come back.
You're such a girl, like it's a bad thing.
Like it's a bad thing. Yeah. Be proud of it. It's wonderful, you know.
Yeah. Or to guys, you know, don't be such a. I mean, I don't necessarily say that anymore, but you know, it's that kind of approach to things.
Yeah.
Or even that's so gay. It's
exactly.
Gay.
Yeah, gay. Yeah.
Girl, that's a girl.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and when you're lying on the dead, you know, just use the for instance from this point of, you know, that we were talking about my experience in the Egyptian desert last. Most of the men had left.
Yes.
The men that were around me were gay or trans, and the rest were women. The majority were women. And, you know, they were giving us comfort. There's me being all macho with my backpack and, you know, my muscles and my martial arts, you know, I'm going to protect you. And they were like, don't worry, my brother, it'll be fine. You will be okay. And I'm like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You know, and their strength was, you know, it wasn't this.
No.
You know, their strength was their heart and their soul. And
and that's what matters. That's what radiates. And that's what you know, you're speaking from your heart radiated as well. That's exactly. I mean, you know, if you started pushing them or punching them away,
exactly.
You know, you'd have been. Everyone would have been beaten twice as bad. You know. So
exactly.
I think this is great lessons and great words. Ah, it's really beautiful. So you're traveling. Just got very briefly. I mean, you know, with the people I speak with, I say this all the time. Well, we could talk for hours, and I know
absolutely.
We should, because we've got to eat and we've got to drink, and other people have got to do the same thing. But I would like just to touch upon your traveling, and not to go too deeply into it, but what you were talking about. You've traveled a lot, you said, and he's disappeared.
Yeah, sorry, I opened the window, let a blue bottle out. You know.
Oh, nice. He just went traveling. You just went traveling. Thank you very much.
Yeah, just went for a quick travel, you know. Oh, blue bottle. Look at this little guy, you know. All life is sacred, isn't it? All life.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, isn't it beautiful?
Yeah. I got there was this beautiful moth, probably about that big today in the shower.
Yeah.
And I tried to pick him or her up, and it flew away. And I was like, okay, where is it?
Yeah.
And picked him or up and just released him or her. And that,
exactly. Yeah.
Why
good.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
So with regard to travel, so you've traveled around, you've traveled obviously with nursing. Have you traveled for fun as well?
I've traveled
for fun as well.
Oh yeah, for fun, for fun, for swimming, for martial arts.
For martial arts.
Yeah, for life, you know.
All that, with all your traveling that's happened, do you find, you know, there are obviously going to be magical moments alone and magical moments with people.
Yeah.
What stays with you the most? Is it magical moments alone? I mean, I know you're never alone because you're with nature and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Human species and so forth. Or is it the experiences alone that you will keep forever, and you will keep them forever? Or those are the ones that radiate, or is it the ones that are with people? Do you think?
Well, it's got to be a mix of both, but the ones that stand out most, other than, you know, momentous things like the Egyptian desert, or like helping people in a war zone and things like that, and you become the lifeline, or you know, when very arrogantly sometimes when I've been to Palestine, especially, you know, I've gone to think I'm going to save the children.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun, Super Leigh, you know, and the children have ended up saving me.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean physically now, you know, we're trapped. We're in a terrible place. So the children have gone up and set up a decoy, you know, by throwing bricks at tanks and things like that.
Can you tell me that scenario? Just what happened? How? Why?
Medical teams that are cornered because, especially the last time that I was in Palestine, you know, they shoot bakers, they shoot medics, and they shoot journalists.
Okay.
So there's no food, there's no help, and nobody knows about it. So lots of places.
It's logical.
Yeah, because they're cold. They're sociopaths. They're looking at, right, this is my problem. How do I answer my problem? Right. I shoot the people that make food. I shoot the people that save lives and give help. And I shoot the people that will tell the world about it.
Yeah. It's like that's what the business people do, isn't it? I'll eliminate the things that are in my way.
Exactly.
It's a capitalistic growth approach to everything. So I want to be on top. Yeah.
Exactly. So, you know, there's been a number of times that we've been stuck in places where there's snipers shooting and we're working on people, and right, it's time to leave now, but we can't. They've shut off this road, they've shut off that road. You know, they're shooting down this alley which we came in down, and now they're shooting down it, or they got drones, they got their bombers and their burners coming down there. They dry. I will hate drones to my dying day.
Okay. Why?
I hear them at the back of the house, and I'm like, fuck me, you know. Excuse my French, but they're terrible, terrible things, you know. And we need to stop the manufacture of the, you know, for killing reasons, you know. It's just fucking horrific. Anyway, I do digress. So we're cornered as a medical team, and we need to get out there. We've got casualties, or nobody's survived, and it's time for us to leave. And roads have been shut off, and they're shooting down roads. And the local women predominantly will send gangs of kids, and the kids will go around behind the IDF, or I call them the IAF, the Israeli Attack Force, or the IOF, the Israeli Occupational Force. They'll go around behind them, they'll start throwing rocks at them and things like this, you know, to cause a diversion. And they'll do that in another area as well. So they'll run into that, and then literally a 5-year-old will run around the corner and go, yalla, 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 yalla. And we've got to run and leave a 5-year-old kid where they're shooting. And I know that kid has got a better survival chance than me. You know, but to leave them behind is just like, fuck. You know what I mean? It's just like, fuck, but you've got to run. You know, if you're done, you're dead.
Yeah, you got to survive.
You know? Yeah. Do you know, and yeah.
That's bravery. That's that's true heart.
But what gets me is then they can turn around and play.
You
know?
Yeah.
They'll turn around and they'll play with the ball.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you know?
Or a can or a stick.
Yeah, exactly. And they may be missing their arm. You know, and I can see from the stump that it was traumatically removed.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a clean amputation, you know.
Yeah.
And they'll still play and they'll still laugh, and it's like, how can you not believe in the magic of love and in magic and in love when you see that? You know, see a child with half a face and they're laughing. And I think, well, what right have I ever got to be grumpy or sad about anything?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's all relative, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's again, that we go back to them living for the day.
Yeah,
they are alert and alive.
Yeah.
And living.
Yeah.
Which we
every second is magic.
Yeah.
You know? And every second they are doing momentous things, you know.
Yeah. Well, they're breathing.
Yeah, exactly. Just staying alive. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've ever had a drowning experience or anything like that, but it's like, I can breathe, and you realize the value of simple breath when you've been that close to death, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I have asthma, so that's a level of understanding how.
There we go.
Yeah,
so for sure.
Not as bad as it could be, but I understand that lack of breath, or trying to catch the breath, is not, and that's it's life.
So back to your original question about, you know, the times alone. You know, I went to a place called, my pronunciation is terrible, Anguera dos Rios in Brazil, which is just islands. I think there's 360 islands in the bay, and there's no cars on the islands. They only have electricity in the days and things like that. And there's little eco hotels and them and stuff like that. But I went there as a swimmer and a runner, and I was just swimming and running between the islands and things like this. And it was just paradise, you know, absolute paradise. And I spent one night in the rainforest, and there was a storm, and it was a scary night and things like this. And I knew the other side of the island was an exposed beach to the Pacific Ocean. So I'm a body surfer now, but I was a surfer, you know. I'm a Swansea boy, you know. We go surfing and we think we're cool. So I had a little handboard with me that I use for my body surfing. So I thought, there was a storm there's got to be some waves. I was up all night being very scared, but there was nobody here to see me being very scared. Because I'm not allowed to be scared because I'm a man,
It didn't happen. It didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. All of these ridiculous things from the patriarchal society, which are in place just to control us as men, so we don't stand up and fight against them. Anyway, I digress again. And I've gone down to this beach, and it's literally dawn. I've gone down to the beach, and I put my backpack down on the beach, which was very lightweight, and you can blow it up. It's inflatable. I'm just somewhere. My little inflatable backpack with what I needed. I'm just getting ready to go surfing on the beach, and this guy walks down the beach, and I thought I was on this island on my own, and he was a Brazilian shaman, and he was walking from one end of Brazil to the next, and he just happened to be on this island at the same time as me. So we sat down and we shared water, because water, we were on an island, it was difficult to get water. We shared water and a little bit of fruit, and he went off and he picked some things from the rainforest to eat. Like, I think there was some maca leaves in there and stuff like that were really nutritious. And he's like, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm swimming and running between some islands, and I'm going to go hand surfing. I was showing him my little surfboard, and he was like, wow, that's amazing. And I'm like, no, wow, you're amazing. Like, because he was literally a man of the land. And he'd been to university in America and things like that, and he decided to be a shaman for his people.
Okay.
And he could have had, I can't remember what he'd studied, but he could have had a high-flying job and, made loads of money and all this. And he'd gone, no, I'm a tribal person. I'm going to study to be a shaman. So he was on his own personal pilgrimage. And what an honor it was to share a little bit of time with him, and share water and share food. And then he gave me a couple of little crystals, and he said, they've been in my hands and in my pockets, and I've spent time with them for a little while. Give them to somebody that comes new into your life. And off he went. And that's just like, that experience, you could almost eat it, because it had so much
flavor,
nutrient. It was an enriched moment. It was a really rich, nutrient-filled moment for me. But then every minute I'd spend with somebody in Palestine, blows out of the water. To see people in a refugee, like Balata refugee. When I talk about refugee camps, people always think of like tents with a fence around it, Whereas the Balata refugee camp, or some of the refugee camps in Palestine, they've got that element to them as well. But they're predominantly areas of the city that have been given over to refugees, and people just get up and walk out of their own house and give it to refugees.
Right.
You know what I mean? They just go, right, they're in need. My auntie, I can go and live with my auntie, and there may be 4 of us living in one room, but I got a room. I've got aunties. I got a family. This person's had everything taken off them by insane settlers. They've had their families wiped out and whatever the horror story, but they walk in and they will literally get up and walk out of their house and give it to the refugees. And then you come back here, then and people are like building fences and killing the little bit of moss between the brickwork and their driveway, and you mustn't stare at their front door because they've got a camera on it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you've got no idea. You're so disassociated from humanity and life and nature. I've got no right to judge them. I'm not. It sounds like I put myself on a pedestal, which I guess I am. I'm a victim of the patriarchal society again, but I just think, how far are you removed from what is true humanity? You consider yourself good, but you're being selfish and obsessive and greedy, and all of the things that we taught are wrong. Our society promotes and ingrains them in people,
And our religion, if we are religious, promotes that as well. And thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not this, thou shalt not that.
Exactly.
And I think we can't help but judge, really. We can't help but judge. And we can see, we see others, and we will compare, because you've now seen so much so it's really probably more comparing, isn't it? And everyone's lost themselves, haven't they? So I mean, we can't talk on for too long, because this is been 2 hours. I mean, we could we really could. Well, it's like 4:10 now, and we started, well, I suppose 2:45. Anyway, whatever it is. Whatever. I'm going to turn to whatever, mate. So a couple of things. I'd like to talk about the flotilla, because that's, I think, really important.
Yes. Yeah.
So we can bring that in a minute. But I
Yes.
was just your thoughts on, so through your experiences and what you've been talking to me about and to us about, is your understanding of being brought up as a Muslim. They are brought up to be
Yep.
compassionate and kind.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yep.
That's what you've seen. That's what you
Yes.
know, and that's how
Yep.
you understand the teachings.
Yes.
And then there are people here, as we know, many people, and then not people who are kind, compassionate,
Yeah.
normal
Yeah.
people, as
Yeah.
it were, who talk about intifadas, who talk
Mm.
about the people who will kill the Western people and then get 20,000 women in wherever
Yeah.
it is, wherever they go.
Yeah.
What is it? I mean, what do you see that is? Have you seen that? Have you noticed the extreme? One would, I suppose, call it the extremes. But have you ever experienced that? What do you think that is? Does that exist? What is it? Where is it? Where does that come from?
At the end of the day, what would you want 99 virgins for? Well, give me one good woman who knows her way around a man's body. Much better idea. But that's me being patriarchal again, isn't it?
I know, it's fine. But that's yeah. So what do you have you seen?
Yeah, I've not experienced that. Extremism is all over the place, and what we have done to beautiful Arabic countries and Persian countries for the last 200 years is extreme. If that has brought extremism, I can't. It's not that I can't fault the extremism, because I just said that extremism in all levels is bad, but I can see why it exists.
Yeah, as we'd mentioned before, really.
Yeah. As we talked about before, I can see why it exists. I've not experienced it myself, and I've travelled Lebanon, Palestine, Jordan, Iraq, Syria, a little bit of the Yemen. I've travelled through Egypt, as we know. So I've travelled most Arabic countries, and I use Arabic countries because the Middle East is a racist term. It is simply a racist term. Wherever you are, there's always something to the east. So you can't have the middle of east.
It's an imperialistic term, isn't it, from Britain?
Yeah. We may as well say where the brown people live.
Yeah.
We may as well, brown countries, it's the same marginalization and isolation and labeling, so that we can absolutely. So I've never seen any of that. Now what I have seen is people who have been very, very adversely affected by the West. And I have met young people who've been brought up to think, especially when I was on the borders of Afghanistan and places like this, that the bogeyman is Americans.
Yeah.
And I think America as a concept, as an imperial nation, is one of the worst imperial forces that have ever existed. And I can understand why. It's a terrible, terrible thing. But then I do know some beautiful Americans, absolutely beautiful people.
Sure. No,
but I have met children who've been brought up to think, here comes the white man, and look out. And it's true, what is it? What was the name? I Hate the White Man. That song. God, I listened to it earlier on.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Oh God. I Hate the White Man. He played acoustic guitar and sang, and it's a wonderful. I hate the white man and his plastic excuse. Wonderful. Roy Harper.
Okay.
Yeah, Led Zeppelin made a song about him because he made such a good joint. Hats off to Roy Harper. Exactly. But yeah, there's a reason, there's a valid reason to hate the white man, and we're still going there, and we're still carrying out genocides, and really quick ones now. You know what I mean?
Yes,
and stealing
experience. We've got experience now.
Exactly. Yeah. So and the reason I've got short hair, is because of the effect of white people in an area that they shouldn't be in. So I've for years, probably 20 years, really long mohawk.
Okay.
Didn't spike it. my wife used to love to plait it, and she used to put beads in it, and she put Danu, the Earth Mother, in there, and Viking beads, and plait my hair. My plait was halfway down my back.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, and you know, I didn't experience this the first times that I was in Palestine so much, because I just had long hair, or I had a skinhead. You know what I mean? I'd be swimming somewhere, so I'd just shave all my hair off, you know, and then go swimming. So those are the times that I've been there in the past. But this time, you know, I had this lovely, lovely long plaited ponytail mohawk down my back, and I'd work. I'd been there for about 5 or 6 days, if not a week or so, and tried to get into Gaza and things like this, and failed. And people were going, "You need to cut your hair. You need to cut your hair. You look like Israeli special forces." And I'm like, no, I'm fine. And then I saw what they did, and I thought, right, okay. And they identify themselves with a ponytail.
Okay.
And then I was working as a nurse in Balata refugee camp and helping people. And the IDF snipers had been in there the night before, and they'd been shooting children and shooting them down the same hole, you know, as we talked about earlier, shooting them in the same place. So they'll be screaming, and as the screaming start to die away, instead of putting them
out of the misery,
shoot them in the same hole, so they start screaming again. And then the snipers would compete to see if they could get a bullet on the same hole. You know, which is disgusting beyond belief. And that had been happening, and a lot of people had been up all night. And I went there with a team of nurses from the Balata refugee camp, and I'm out in there, literally physically nursing, and all of a sudden the nurses are gone, "We got to go back to the office." And I'm like, "But we need to be doing this, you know." No, we got to go back to the office. When I go back to the office, they put kefir on me, and they put Palestinian flags around me, and put a Palestinian baseball cap on me. I've still got it somewhere. It's on the line. I washed it because I wore it in London yesterday.
Okay, cool.
So they put a Palestinian baseball cap on me, and because I was going to get lynched.
Right.
They literally thought I was undercover Israeli special forces, so I was going to get lynched by the beautiful, warm, caring people, because they'd all been up all night listening to children die from where Israeli special forces have been shooting them, and they thought I was Israeli special forces.
Okay.
And then and it was Ramadan when I was there, you know, this time. So I rushed back into where I was staying in Nablus City. If you've never been to Nablus City, go to Nablus City. It's just beautiful. Nablus.
Nablus City.
Yeah. Nablus City in the West Bank. It's just gorgeous. It's an old Ottoman city, and you know, there's tapestries on the walls which have got no covering on them, that have been out there for hundreds of years, and people just don't touch them.
Okay.
I went to a baths there that I was scooping water out of the same stone basins that the Romans used to scoop water out. You know what I mean? It's just an incredible place. So I rushed back into the place I was staying in Nablus with a wonderful, lovely gentleman run his family, I don't know, an Ottoman house. He ran it as a B&B, and he was especially, you know, he let me stay there for ages. Once he found out I was there to nurse, he just pay rent, you know, drink my coffee, you know, nice. This sort of thing, you know. Yeah. And I like, right, I need to go to a barber. I need to go to a barber and get my hair cut. And he's like, "Well, I did tell you." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm so sorry. I should have bloody listened, you know." But my wife loved my plait. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. An amazing wife. Yeah.
Exactly. My amazing wife loved my plait. So anyway, went up to this hairdresser's, and the hairdresser was like, "Really, you want me to cut this off?" And I'm like, people keep saying shalom to me, and he's like, "Okay, yeah. It's coming off." You know what I mean? I'm walking down the road, people are going shalom, and I'm like, "No shalom." You know, this sort of thing, because of where I was, you know, and you know, so I'm like, I got to get over my haircut. So literally, he's gone out on the street and he's talking to people on the street, and within like 10 minutes, there's like 20 women in there and 20 men in there, and they're all celebrating the fact that I'm going to have my hair cut for Palestine.
Wow.
And we had iftar in there, you know, they broke their fast in there in Ramadan, and had like a little iftar party in there. And when I'm getting my hair cut, the women going like this, you know, and it was incredible, you know. They cut the cloth off, and you know, one of them is like, can I keep this? Because you had it cut. You know, I'm like, "Oh, take it with you.
Do what you want with it."
Exactly, you know. And a couple of days before, I'd had some of my hair ripped out by this IDF soldier and she was vile, you know, she was absolutely vile. She'd ripped some of my hair out and locked me in an APV in the desert, and I'd had feces thrown at me, and I was denied water and legal help and everything. And I, you know, am I going to be another dead medic in the fucking in the desert, like, you know? And that was a terrifying experience. And she'd ripped some of my hair, and I'd even got my hair like fucking keeping that, you know what I mean? And I had it, so I tied it to my wash bag, and it's still tied to my wash bag now. You know, when my traveling wash bag, it's tied to the zip, like, you know, it's like, you're not having that. You ripped it out of my head, but I'm taking it with me as mine, like, you know.
Yeah, this is mine. It's a symbol. You survived.
Yeah.
It's a symbol of survival.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Part of you. Yeah. How many times, if I may ask, have you felt that, you know, am I going to be another dead medic?
I don't think I got an answer for that question, you know.
Many.
The first time I was in what they call the summer rains in 2010, when the IOF did an affront across the Mediterranean reaches of Gaza, and it literally rained bombs and guns and bullets, and you know, then I thought, I'm dead now. I'm not coming out here this time.
Okay.
And you know, some people say, oh, white savior, bloody white savior, whatever they call it, you know, complex. Yes, complex, you know. And it's like, no, actually, you know, I've been so scared there, I've wet my pants and I've gone back. So I know I'm not a white savior, because I've been so scared and felt so humiliated and so unable to look after myself, that if I take one step this way, I'm going to die. I've peed myself.
Yeah, of course.
And once you've done that, white savior goes out the window, really, doesn't it? You know what I mean? I'm no white savior, like, you know, I'm just...
That doesn't make sense, because white savior is like me going to Africa and building a factory to give them jobs.
Yes.
You know, but I'm giving them jobs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, look at me. Check me out.
That makes no sense to me at all. But anyway,
absolutely.
We are surrounded
I'm going to places, you know, as a medic.
Yeah. No, you're just there to help. I mean, you know, there's ego involved in everything. We cannot avoid that.
Yes, exactly.
So that's the different thing altogether. That's just a different thing altogether.
They do say there's no such thing as an altruistic act, but we do good when we try.
Yeah, and it feels good to do good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It is the best thing in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can take money and go swimming and go on holiday as much as you like. When you do something, I mean, even on the way home today, there was a Range Rover, and its alarms on, you know, it's whatever flashes on. Cars were going by. I thought, okay, this person might need help, so I stopped.
Yeah.
And he wasn't able to change his tire, so we changed his tire together. Even that.
Yes.
I came back going, oh, I feel so good.
Yeah, exactly. Because you helped somebody that was in need and distress, you know, and you should feel good. Yeah.
And whether it was, you know, important or not, important to him, he could go and see his family, who he was going to see. Yeah. I got an orange juice. You know, he wanted to give me some drinks. I was like, I honestly don't want anything. But he wanted to give me, because it's, you know, it's how it works. So it's like
exactly.
You have to accept that up to a level. And I had some orange juice. And that will give me the vitamin C and whatever else. So that's how it works, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, I've been to places in Palestine and in Gaza where people are sitting in the empty shell of what used to be their house, and they want to share their coffee with you. And it's like, sit down and share it. It's a wonderful, beautiful experience, and I'm not taking from them.
No.
I'm empowering themselves, and I'm empowering me.
And you're exactly. It's all about connections.
Exactly.
I was in Mombasa during Eid Ramadan, and they broke. They were waiting for the towers to start. You know, I don't know what the actual terminology is, but I was walking around taking photographs, and this guy, as soon as, you know, the call went out, as it were, come to my house. I went to 2 houses, broke their fast with me. Nothing. I'm not religious. I'm white guy walking around with a camera. Come. And I was like, oh, and I spent time with these families and introduced them to them, you know, the mothers, and they didn't want anything in return. They wanted nothing, just
nothing at all.
Just an experience together.
Yeah, exactly. And I've had the same, you know, in Ramallah and in Nablus, you know, and yeah, it's just the beauty of those selfless acts.
And
You
you
know,
do
that
get that here. You do get that out here. There's no doubt.
yeah,
You do
yeah,
get that
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Uh,
There's good people, as I said. There's good people everywhere.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
Because
and then
we know good people. We know a
yeah,
lot of people who
exactly.
will know the
Yeah,
same good people.
yeah,
Kazi being one of them, and
yeah.
a
Wonderful.
lot more who we know who are connected, who
Yeah,
are just beautiful, good people. Um, yeah, really, really beautiful, really amazing. So let's talk about the flotilla, because
oh
I
yes,
know.
yeah.
So actually, before no, this is going to be linked to it. So
Yeah,
Kazi shared a post. Can you support my friend? And this was, he's a vegan, he's a feminist, he's
yeah,
done this, he is that,
yeah,
he was there on this, he was there on that.
yeah,
He's going to be joining a flotilla, and
yeah.
he won't have enough. He won't wants his money enough for food.
Yes,
But if he doesn't get it, he'll go anyway.
yeah,
Like that is that's an amazing post. It's not like,
yeah,
oh, it's so dramatic, but it's just
yeah,
like if
yeah,
he can't get it, he can't get it.
yeah,
He's going to go anyway. It would help if you can. Blah 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 blah.
yeah, yeah,
So I was like, oh, Carl, this is another reason I want to speak to this man.
yeah,
So yeah, you happy to share two things actually? Share what the flotilla is and
yeah,
how we can help and why you're doing
yeah,
it and who you're doing it with, because I know it's probably
yeah,
a group of people, which is what a flotilla
yeah.
is. And the other thing is if you want to touch on how difficult you have found it, or easy you have found it, being a vegan traveling around in war zones and doing this. But so yeah, if you could talk about the flotilla first, that would be amazing.
Yeah. So the after the March to Gaza, because that did attract a lot of attention, not just me. There was a Malaysian flotilla that wanted to join up with the Freedom flotillas that have been going out of Italy and Sicily and that area, which is, you saw the Madeline, now you've seen the Handler. There was another one that went out from Bristol in 2010, I think, and people died, got beaten to death by the IDF, I believe. I might be wrong there, might have been shot, but people died, So after the March to Gaza, the Samud convoy as well was stopped in Tunisia. So the Samud convoy was a North African initiative where people were coming up and they were literally going through war zones, to try and march to Gaza. They were trying to meet up with the March to Gaza because we were all trying to meet up, I believe, at Al Arifah or in the Sinai Desert to go to the Rafah border to call for the lifting of the siege on Gaza. And all of these people were trying to get together, but we were all stopped at different places, different levels. We were all stopped. So the Samud convoy has got together with the March to Gaza and got together with the Freedom Flotilla. And I know the Malaysian initiative has joined them as well. I believe that there's a South African initiative that's joined as well. And that's called the Global Samud Flotilla.
Okay. How do you spell Samud?
Samud. Bear with me. I will let you know. All right, dog, don't worry.
Time for break.
Good boy. I'm very safe. Sorry about that.
No, you're welcome.
I forgot I put them on the line, but my dogs have kept me very safe. I don't know if you heard.
I did.
So, this is the Global Samud convoy.
Okay, so it's you spelled SUMUD, but Samud is that how you?
Samud, yeah.
Okay, that's a beautiful. Oh, that's a beautiful T-shirt.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Where'd you get them?
You got to be part of it.
God damn it!
Damn it!
I want one. I want one.
What size T-shirt do you wear? What size T-shirt do you wear?
No, don't worry. No.
No, really?
I'm not part of it. I'm not part of it.
Yeah, but you are now.
No. Well, we'll talk about it. No.
On the back, it's got the global movement of Gaza.
Oh.
Because the global movement is the same initiative, but that's the all-encompassing. Everybody who donates, everybody who helps, everybody who talks about it, everybody who arranges a protest in our name while we're doing it. So this is the global movement to Gaza and the global Samud convoy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, there's a little QR code on the back, or big QR code on the back there, which
nice.
Literally people have walked up and beeped with their phones, and I'm like,
"What are you doing?
A BB thing, get back, BB thing." You know,
that's what it's there for. So you got to accept it.
Yeah, exactly. So that is the global movement of Gaza. Now, today, this evening, so I'm letting you in on a big secret here. This evening, I know. This evening, I'm going to make a little video saying that, and I'm going to try and get more interest off Britain, because the way that I look at it is, Britain is a very patriotic, and in the Second World War, Britain stood up against fascism and it stood up against genocide, and proud men and women went and they fought, and a lot of them did it under their own steam. So a lot of the things that I do under my own steam. One is down to my ADHD, that I can't wait for the reply from who I've applied to, so I go anyway. And when people need help, they need help. I don't have to be have a special blazer on to be able to go and help people. I can just go and help, especially because of my nursing and things that I've studied and done. And my traveling, I'm quite happy to be uncomfortable. I'm quite happy to sleep on the side of the road. Well, not happy, but I will sleep on the side of the road. I can go without food. I know that, these sorts of things. So I just go and help. So why was I saying that?
Because of the video tonight.
Yes, the video tonight is. So what I'm going to try and do, the way I'm looking at it now is, our government isn't the proud British public anymore. Okay, Winston Churchill, I would have loved to see the suffragettes taking a bullwhip to him. When I learned that, I was like, oh, I so wanted to see that. Damn, I'm really old, but I'm not quite old enough to have seen the suffragettes take a whip to Winston Churchill. I really would have liked to see that. Anyway, Britain did the right thing.
Yeah.
At the moment, it is helping Hitler. When it's helping Netanyahu and it's helping the occupation and the genocidal fascist machine that is Israel. I'm not talking about I've worked with some amazing Israeli people. I've seen them dying for Gaza. I've had one of them blown all over me, So I'm not judging people. I'm judging the regime, and it is wrong. It is wrong what it's doing. Our government is actively helping them. So to me, that is the equivalent of our government in the Second World War helping Hitler. When, hey, Hitler, you need a hand there, Let's get on with it. So I'm taking that initiative on myself, because I'm a Welshman, I'm a Britishman, but I'm a person of the earth. I'm part of humanity. I'm part of the oneness of all life. I am part of life. So I'm taking that initiative on myself, and I'm going with the Dunkirk spirit. And I'm taking it. If I got to paddle across the channel, if I had to swim it, I'll swim it. I've done it before. I'd swim to France, okay? But I'd cross on a coracle if I could bloody work a coracle. But yeah, I've tried. I follow my head. So I'm crossing over to France. So you're the first person who knows this now, right? And this is going out. When's your podcast go out?
Oh, well, it depends on how quick it is for me to edit. But I can put this as a video on YouTube enough straight away. If I think I was thinking about, I can put it on as a video straight away.
Right. Okay. Well, that's entirely up to you. You have my consent. You know what I mean? What you do is beautiful. You're a beautiful man. You're a beautiful entity, and I've really enjoyed being here and sharing with your listeners and sharing with yourself. And you're an inspirational character, and the way that you stimulate conversation is wonderful.
Oh,
absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
So I am going with the good Dunkirk spirit.
Yeah.
And I am crossing over to France. And I am meeting up.
Look at that.
Isn't that beautiful? That is with beautiful. 1,000 Madeleines.
That's beautiful.
Because if Israel stopped one boat,
yes,
1,000.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going, I think there's 8 British people.
Okay.
Now, come on, Britain, there's 69 million, if not 70 million of us.
Yes, true.
We've got one British boat. One. We're a seafaring nation. We're an island nation. We've got one British boat. The Samud convoy, I've got boats from all over the world. They've had to borrow one for Britain. And we're a seafaring nation. Wherever you go in Britain, there's ports full of yachts, you know?
Why do you think it's people don't know about it? Is that basically what it is?
Well, one, people don't know about it. Two, we're British. No, we mustn't make a fuss.
Yeah.
You know, we're British. We can't have emotions. We can't feel for those other people overseas that are getting burnt in their beds by our bombs. We're British. They're British bombs. They've got to be. Our British bombs only hit bad guys. That's what our media tells us. You know, I don't know if anybody's ever seen a bomb going off. Like, it doesn't have a conscience. Certainly doesn't ask for your passport, or it smacks you in the face, you know? So, anyway, I am going with 1,000 Madeleines in the Dunkirk spirit, and I am taking as many boats as the French Madeleine convoy has, and I'm taking them to meet the Samud convoy, and we're sailing to Gaza to try and lift the siege.
Oh, wow. How long do you think that's going to take?
It'll be about 3 weeks to get there. If we get there, we're going to spend 5 or 6 days distributing the aid that we've got. And I know, you know, Britain is showing footage of people starving, people fighting for food, and then judging them negatively.
Yeah.
You've never been without food.
No.
You know what I mean? You've never had your family shot whilst they go in for food. Shooting hungry people when they go in for food is the same mentality as gassing people who want to have a shower.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. You know, there's no difference in that mentality. So I know if we get there, we'll have a reception. Chances are we'll get a very good reception because they know we're coming. If people are desperate, they are desperate. I will do my best to give it to them.
Yeah.
Even if we've just got to dump it on the beach and get out of there for our own safety. That's a reality we've got to look at.
Yeah.
You know, because people are desperate, and they've been forced to be desperate by all those white people that are living in brown people's country, saying that's where they come from. Yet if they go out in the sun, they blister and burn. Anyway, so I'm taking the British Dunkirk spirit with me, and I'm crossing over to France. I'm meeting the 1,000 Madeleines. The 1,000 Madeleines has now got an initiative from Germany, an initiative from Canada, another one from America, an initiative from Switzerland, I believe Italy as well. And they're all going to congregate in the Med. And then we're going to go with the Global Samud convoy. But I know the Global Samud convoy has got to stagger, because obviously you can't just all sail in a straight line across the Mediterranean.
Can you not? Why not? Why not? What?
Yeah, exactly. So how very dare they get in the way of the one British boat, eh? Which isn't bloody supported by our Navy, which it should be.
Yes.
So I'm going with the good old Dunkirk spirit, and I'm meeting up with these beautiful French resistance. Vive la resistance.
Yes.
Because the French government is complicit as well.
Yeah.
So vive la resistance. I'm going with the German resistance as well. The White Roses, that were a team of intellects that were trying to overthrow Hitler, which is why we hold the White Rose, which I didn't know until that was explained to me, why the lady gave me the White Rose on July the 5th, was because of the White Roses in Nazi Germany. So I'm meeting up with a German initiative because their government is very violently complicit.
Yeah.
And we're meeting up with all of these resistance groups from all over Europe. We're getting onto boats and we're sailing to Gaza.
Amazing. Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
I'm talking to someone who's actually doing something. I am honored, honestly. I am really honored. No.
You are by talking.
What?
You are by talking. By protesting, by talking, you're doing.
No. What I'm okay. I do stuff, but I'm just saying is that I see you and I really feel you. It's I don't know.
Habibi. Thank you, my dear, my brother.
Well, you're my brother, Habibi, isn't it? Habibi.
Yeah, Habibi. Habibi is not my brother. It literally translates as my dear.
Okay.
But it is somebody that I want to show love for. You know.
Thank you.
So in Welsh, I'd say diolch yn fawr brawd, which is very big thanks, brother. you know, hwyl i fi. So spirit, hwyl, is how we say cheers and goodbye in Welsh, and give somebody, project our love to somebody, is to give them hwyl, is to give them spirit.
I don't want to say, I mean, someone like you sharing that with me is a really beautiful thing. And you're honestly, you're giving me, I don't know what you're giving me. It's just a really beautiful, I've experienced this experience that I've just had and having with you.
Beautiful.
I can't speak about it. I can't talk about it because I can't, there's no words.
Wonderful.
So thank you.
Thank you. It's an honor, Brett. It's an honor.
So
you're the first person who knows that, because I've been a face for the Samod convoy, and the 1,000 Madeleines. For whatever reason I can't comment on, hasn't really been public. It hasn't really been open and been public. But I am there to bring them to public.
Amazing. Okay.
So I'm there to say, look, this is who we are. This is what we're doing. So I'm going with the British. And we've got our one British boat from an island of sailors. We got our one British boat, but it is a beautiful thing. And I didn't pay for it. The guys that are going paid for the boat themselves out of their own pocket. And we're sailing to Gaza.
Okay, wow.
And I'm humbled by them.
Yeah.
You know, they work really hard, managed to get 10 grand together each, bought a boat to sail to Gaza.
Wow.
You know, and none of them are loaded. None of them are really rich, really affluent people, you know. And they've saved and saved and saved, and
they're rich in their hearts.
Oh, absolutely, man. That's true wealth, isn't it? To have love in your heart is as wealthy as you can get, and to have health. Yes. People didn't realize the value of health until it starts to go. You know, doesn't matter how many billions. You know, I've seen billionaires die, and they die like anybody else.
Yeah.
You know, and they usually go quite bitter as well if they go in slowly. You know,
sure
they're usually quite bitter. Anyway, so there we are. I've let you in on the secret of 1,000 Madeleines.
Whoop.
Whoop, whoop. Is joining the Samod convoy and the global movement of Gaza. And over the next 2 weeks, we're going.
Oh, that's amazing. That is truly fantastic. I mean, someone who's just doing stuff, and all these people that are doing things to make a difference.
Isn't it?
It is amazing. It is outstanding.
Yeah.
It's outstanding.
Yeah.
So thank you, and thank them, and please share my love and my energy with them. I'm sending it to them, because so what do you need? What can this platform give you? I mean, help you in any way? I mean, what?
Crewed boats.
Okay.
That's the main thing that we want, is people who know how to sail, that have a boat, or can get a boat, get their hands on a boat, buy a boat. If you've got loads of money, buy a boat and crew it. If you haven't got loads of money, be a crew on a boat. If you haven't got loads of money, support us in any other way we can. We need tech support. We need people just to share it on their social media platforms. This is what we're doing. Okay. You know, our safety and what we are doing is a symbolic act. You know, we're not going there with 1,000 gunboats to shoot up the Israeli military. Dun, 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 dun. That's not happening. We're going to sail there with love in our hearts. And if they're violent towards us, then they are violent towards us. And, you know, these are people that I've seen shooting women through their babies. And we're going to go and confront them with love and compassion in our hearts. And there's a big Islamic quarter there. There's a big Christian quarter there. There's lots of anarchists and atheists like myself. It's not just a bunch of hippies in a dinghy. You know, there's some MPs. There's some MPs in there from French political parties and other political parties. I think there's every one of them has got a medic on board. So there's doctors, there's nurses, there's paramedics, there's first responders, first aiders, and first responders and first aiders save a lot of lives. This country looks at them like, oh, you're just a first aider. They save a lot of lives. You know, when it comes to basic resuscitation in this country, I can't the percentage you say was something like 90% of lives that are saved pre-hospital in Britain alone, saved by first aiders.
Yeah. But
how you can support us, you can fund us, you can talk about us, you can cause a protest, you can buy a boat, crew a boat, get on a boat, steal a fucking boat. Sorry.
No.
You know what I mean? All property is theft. I got it tattooed on my back. It's lladrad in pob iddio in Welsh, but it's a French anarchist quote, isn't it? All property is theft. You know, so I got that tattooed years ago. So, you know, If you go and get a boat, you get a boat and you come with us if you can.
And how do they find you? Is there a connection? Is there a website? Is there anything?
There's the global movement to Gaza and the Samoyed Convoy have got their own website.
Okay, so people can find that, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's 1,000 Madeleines. Madeleine was the only ever Palestinian fisherwoman. So there's 1,000 Madeleines website. If you look, there's a link on my Instagram to 1,000 Madeleines and to a global Samoyed Convoy.
Okay.
Donate to them, help them in any way, give them backup, talk about us when we're on the way, protest for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we are there for Palestine. So we are just a conduit to bring awareness to Palestine and the blatant land theft and genocide that's happening there. Okay. So we're just a method of bringing awareness to it, you know, whether you know we get there, whether we get stopped, whether we get kidnapped, whatever happens is going to happen. But our commitment is love. Our commitment is that, you know, as selfless as we can be, to put ourselves there.
Yeah, and it's to bring focus onto it, and also to bring aid to the people.
To bring aid. Every boat is going to be carrying aid. So if I can, I'll take specialist formulas and things if I can get my hands on them now. Because I've had to generate money because this was only all arranged within the last 6 weeks.
Okay.
And you can see my crowdfunder was going nowhere until Kazi put her hand up and said, look, we can make this happen. So anything that I don't need physically to get me there to bring the awareness, I will spend on aid, and it will be spent on the people of Gaza and Palestine. If I can get my hands on it, I know there are specialist baby formulas for children that have been long-term malnourished and things like that, which is part of their master plan, you know, the malnourishment. It affects generations to come, you know. So, and I don't know if people know on your channel, I think it's for the last 15 or 20 years, Israel has only allowed in the basic calorific requirement per day for every man, woman, and child in Gaza. They've calculated how many calories just to keep people alive are needed, and that is all they have let in there for the last 15 or 20 years. So this is a long-term plan. This didn't start on October the 7th. I don't condone any violent loss of life, but this is a long-term. I can't think of the right words. You know what I mean? It's a plan of great evil that was dreamt up years ago. You know, probably before the First World War.
Yeah,
you know, definitely in Balfour's time.
Yeah.
You know, the Balfour Declaration was put into place not by some bimbling, daft, inbred bloody boffin from Britain. You know, it was put into place with a plan.
Yeah.
And it's been an insipid land steal and genocide since. A quiet one that they've tried to keep. Shh.
Well, we've all sort of somehow known about it. There was that amazing young woman who was, you know, I think I can't remember her name, 15, 16, whatever, 14, teenager, who would stand up to the IDF, and things like that would pop into our awareness over the last however many years. Yeah. But that's all we'd get. That's honestly all we'd
absolutely. Get. Yeah. When I was last in Palestine, you know, the British SAS put a laser on the UN building with journalists in, and Israel came over with a British F-35 and bombed it.
Oh, wow.
Stop the information getting out of there.
Wow.
And it's not that we were complicit. We made it happen. We're flying out of Cyprus. We're flying missions out of Cyprus where we shouldn't be. It's Cyprus. You know what I mean? It's not Clydach. No. It's not Coventry. Yeah, it's Cyprus, like, you know. And we flew I think it's 1,500 hours over Gaza.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? Plotting, analyzing, you know.
Yeah. And where's that information going? Yeah.
So
okay, you're happy for me to share that whenever I can?
I am very happy for you to share it. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. You know, you're a legend, mate. You're an absolute legend. And helping getting the word out there is super. Thank you.
All right, I'll definitely do that, and I'm going to edit some of this video and put it out there tonight if I can as well.
Yeah, do it.
Or do you want me to wait till you do your video?
No, just go for it, bro. Get the word out there as quickly as you can.
And I'll get the connections with the links on your Instagram, and then the GoFundMe that Kazi put up as well.
Chocolate and BB. Thank you.
Thank you. So I think we better leave it now, because you've got a life to live. You've got water to drink. You've got food to eat, and so forth.
No worries.
You just got to, I don't know, just got to be. I just really
do
want to.
awesome stuff. Like we can all do awesome stuff.
Well, we can. Yeah.
Yeah. All we got to do is forget about the things that they've told us we have to do. You know, we're not going to live forever. We don't need tons of stuff. You know, if your boss doesn't agree with you doing something, they don't own your life. You know, be you.
Yeah.
We're all beautiful. We're all powerful. We're all children of humanity. We're all part of the great oneness of life, you know. Embrace it. Be beautiful. What's the full saying? Like, everybody knows part of this, but they don't know the full. A lot of people have never heard the full thing. It's boldness as beauty and majesty of its own. Be bold, seize the day, it belongs to the brave. That's a wonderful thing, isn't it? One of my early martial arts instructors used to say, be stronger than your excuses. Oh, isn't that wonderful?
Oh, that kicks your ass.
Doesn't it? Whatever you want to do in life, you know, if you want to be a good martial artist, if you want to do anything, you've got to be stronger than your own excuses. I'm like, you know, voila, have some of that.
That's amazing. That's a great thing to end on. I love it. I love it.
You're a legend, mate. Thank you so much for the privilege of being here. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Well, I think our connection really is going to be a lifelong connection.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, love to you.
Absolutely, you
love
too.
To your beautiful wife.
Thank you.
Love to everyone who's influenced you, your mother, and all the people and the Palestinian women who are with you, whoever's with you, whenever they're with you, who have given you the ability to be who you are.
Wonderful.
And
thank you.
Thank you for giving you the ability to be who you are, because I think that's.
Oh, that is a beautiful thing. Well done. Well done. Well done.
Love you, man. And thank you for being everything. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, wonderful. Legend.
You're a genius. And I'm sending you energy.
Rock and roll. I'm an old heavy metal headbanger, bro. Rock and roll.
I'll stop it now and then we'll just do a quick.
No worries. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, love you.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers, bro.